lot surrounded by palm trees, water. It's beautiful property, right? And they're like selling hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of merchandise every single month. Business is good. And then you have Katrina, right? And the levees break, and they're right on the water. The only car left was I think it was the LS400, the Lexus, the top of the class Lexus, that they escaped in. When I went to meet the brother, he and his father, he was delivering pizza in that Lexus. That's what his job was. Now you can imagine, they went from what to what, right? What kind of lifestyle, what kind of financial dealings, to what kind of lifestyle where they have to now deliver pizza and work at a pizza restaurant full time. But a big smile on their face. And I'm looking at them like, man, people, if they suffer this kind of loss, either they pop a whole, bottle of Advil or Tylenol and get it over with. They jump off a cliff. They'll drown themselves. They can't take it anymore, They don't want to deal with it. But why? What smile on your face? He says, when we were busy and when business was good, we didn't have time to go to the masjid. I didn't get to see the wife much. Didn't get to play with the kids. Now, subhanAllah, we catch every salah in the masjid. There's still a roof over our head, food on our plate. What do we have to be ungrateful for? We should be grateful. Subhanallah. This doesn't happen unless you have iman. That kind of loss is not a loss. But if you don't have iman, then that's a loss. Then you will collapse. You will no longer be, you won't even want to live. People are willing to commit suicide because they wanted to, get with this girl and she married somebody else and they jump off a bridge. And this real life story. Actually, I know of a Muslim kid that this happened to in the 90s in New York. Wanted to marry this girl, she married somebody else. He jumped off the Brooklyn Bridge, and he killed himself, committed suicide. It's a sad thing. But when does that happen? When you long for something other than Allah. And longing for Allah will give you tranquility, and that will not happen until you have iman. This is the escape from loss. إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا. This is the first thing. Then Allah Azza wa Jal mentions وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. First, in the way I organized my notes, I'm going to go through the difficult vocabulary and some of the commentary, then we'll come back to the ayah as a whole and look at the lessons piecemeal. But let's just deal with the vocabulary first. وَعَمِلُوا. The word amal in Arabic is similar to another word called fi'l. There's amal and there is fi'l. Amal is a conscious action. Amal is a conscious action. While fi'l is it can also be a subconscious action. For example, fi'l is I'm breathing right now. That's not a amal, that is what? It's a fi'l. I'm walking. That can be a fi'l because I'm not necessarily thinking about every step, looking at my foot, hey, move forward. You don't do that. It's subconscious almost, right? When you open your eyes and you can see, that's not a amal, that is what? A fi'l. But when you speak to someone, when you go to work, when you drive your car, right? When you go and buy groceries, these are all a'mal because there is a conscious intent involved. You actually thought about it and then did it. So here Allah Azza wa Jal is making us, one thing we're realizing is we are answerable for every single act that we did consciously. Because there are behaviors, by the way, in our deen there's so much mercy. There are people who don't have control over their conscious behavior. They lose their sanity, they have all kinds of psychological disorders. And they are not, in our deen, they're غير مكلف. They're not held responsible for their behavior. But amal in and of itself includes conscious action. And then the word after it, amilu as-salihat. The word as-salihat is actually an adjective. It comes from the word salaha, which means to reconcile and to rectify. To reconcile and rectify. This is a very powerful word. It has two things in it that I want to highlight, inshallah. My fear genuinely is we're not going to finish Surah Al-Asr today. Inshallah, one last session after. Inshallah, one last session. But anyway, the word as-salihat is an adjective in and of itself. The word that is understood, when Allah says they do goods, literally, if you want to rough translate it, goods. But good in and of itself in English, that doesn't even sound right. Good is an adjective. But an adjective requires a noun. Good deeds. Even, a lot of translations they say, and they do good deeds. Well, the good is here in the word salih. Where's the word deeds? It's not there in the Arabic. That word would have been وَعَمِلُوا الْأَعْمَالَ الصَّالِحَاتِ. If the word al-a'mal was there, which is understood, it's mahdhuf, it's implied. Now the thing that I want to highlight here are a couple of things. The first thing is the word al-a'mal in Arabic is considered jam'a mukassar. It's a broken plural. And broken plurals are supposed to have feminine adjectives. I know it's a little bit technical, but you'll see the benefit of it in a second, inshallah. So typically you would say al-a'mala as-salihata. You would put a ta marbuta on a salihah, and that would be done. Righteous deeds. But Allah Azza wa Jal says al-a'mala, and understood, but He says as-salihati. Jam' mudhakkar salim. This is the feminine plural form. So what's the difference between saying as-salihata, just putting a ta marbuta as we would expect, and instead of putting the ta marbuta, putting the feminine plural form? Well, the difference is, from a balagha point of view, if you put the ta marbuta, then those are many, many, many deeds. But when you put the feminine plural, this is considered a form of jam'u qillah, a plural of minimum. Meaning Allah is saying, righteous deeds that I'm asking you to do are not countless. They're just a few. I'm not asking a lot of you. You just have to do a few good deeds. In other words, our deen isn't composed of an endless list of instructions. Allah has asked us for a few things, and we fail to do them. Right? And the fact that Allah hasn't asked us for much is inside the word of salihat. Had it been a salihah, there would have been a lot more. Rhetorically would have been a lot more. Subhanallah. So what are these few things? The muharramat are a few. The main fara'id, the main obligations are a few. Then there are things in this deen that embellish your life as a Muslim. There are the sunan of the Prophet ﷺ. There are behaviors that make your etiquette, your manners, your behaviors better and better. They increase your iman and your taqwa. But at the heart of it, there are a few things you should definitely do, and there are a few things you should definitely not do, and they're not a lot. And they are so few that any Muslim knows them. The few things at the core of this deen are so few that any Muslim knows what they should do and what they shouldn't do. Even the guy who doesn't study Islam at all, doesn't learn anything, even that person knows they should pray 5 times. Even that person knows they should fast in Ramadan. Even that person knows they should go to Hajj. Even that person knows they owe something to tell their non-Muslim neighbor something about it. They should tell them something about Islam at least. They should know something. At least I'll give them a CD. I hand them a pamphlet, something. They know that. The very basics everybody knows. Even if you don't know them in academic terms, they are just a few. This is the first thing I wanted to highlight. The second thing I wanted to highlight about as-salihat is that this word, in Arabic we say this has luzum and ta'addi in it. What that means in English, I know I'll use difficult words, but I'll simplify them as we go on. This word is transitive and intransitive. The word salihat can be understood as transitive, which is called ta'addi or muta'addi in Arabic, and intransitive, which is lazim or luzum, infinitive. Okay? What does that mean? The benefit of knowing that is, as-salihat could be it could be describing the actions. Salih means that which corrects. So these are correct actions. These are correct, good actions. Actions that in and of themselves are good, and the consequences of them are also good. That's when the word is lazim. If the word is muta'addi, you know what it means? The one who does them becomes good. Meaning these are means by which the person who does them is becoming good. In other words, this salihat could be, and the impact, the description could be of the action, and it could also be a means by which the person is being reconciled. You want to become a better person? Start doing better things. Do good things, and automatically you will start to become a better person. It's like good deeds are being described in this surah like medicine that are making you better and better and better. Subhanallah. So the deeds in and of itself is good, and they are making you good. They're correcting you. They're fixing you. And the more you abandon them, the sickness comes back. And the more you take this medicine, the more you start getting healed. That is embedded beautifully inside the word as-salihat. It's incredible that Allah Azza wa Jal puts it in this way. إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. Then the final two, just as far as vocabulary. Let's look at, these are a little bit tougher words, so we'll just look at my notes, inshaAllah ta'ala, and conclude our third session. As far as linguistic analysis is concerned, the word tawasi, related words from it are wasahu, wassahu, and awsahu. To charge someone, to command someone, bikada, to do such and such a thing. For example, if I say wasaituka bis-salah, it means I told you to make salah. I'm telling you, you really should make salah. Now, I'm not just telling you, I'm counseling you, I'm like kind of giving you a heart to heart. I'm doing my best to tell you, and I'm telling you in a way that makes you think, this guy is telling me something that's good for me. You know, there's a way to tell someone something that aggrandizes yourself. Hey, you don't make salah? What's the matter with you? Right? That's just putting yourself up and putting them down. But then when you talk to someone in a way that they feel that you want what's good for them, right? I really think you should come. I really think you should stop doing that. I mean, I'm worried about you. You know, the tone. This is in wasiyah itself. Wasiyah literally means to leave a will. And you know who you leave a will for? Loved ones. And a will is full of things that will benefit the people after you're gone. And when someone writes a will, it implies they don't have a lot of time left, so they better write it up now, because once they're gone, who knows what's going to happen. So they want to leave these important parting words to this person. This is at the heart of this word. What it includes is a sense of urgency. It's like when you tell someone the truth, you have this urgency that I'm not going to be around tomorrow. I better get this advice out to them now when I still can. You know, a lot of times when somebody needs your advice, you say, I don't know how they're going to take it, man. I don't know if I should tell them. They're not going to like what I have to say. We're good friends, but if I bring this up, we might not be good friends anymore. They might not want to talk to me anymore. I'll wait for a better time. And you'll keep waiting for a better time, and a better time will never come. It's true, we should look for the right opportunity, but we should also have a sense of urgency. And the sense of urgency is inside the word tawasul. This is the first thing that we wanted to highlight. This is also used, by the way, when you give someone an enormous amount of wealth. Wasiyah is also when you leave someone, bequeath someone with land or like a house or a river is named after someone. This is also from tawasi. So by implication, what that means is what you are to offer someone is literally valued advice. It's a treasure that you're giving to someone, that you're handing them over, that is really going to be of benefit to them. Okay, so this is the second thing inside this word. Then finally, at-tawasi is from bab at-tafa'ul, which means al-ishtirak. It includes in it a component of it is things that are done mutually, meaning you are enjoining the other, you're telling the other truth, and the other is telling you a truth. And a part of that lesson we'll share today. When you give someone good advice, sometimes they get back to you and say, "Oh yeah, what about you? You're telling me to do this, but I've seen you do this, that, or the," they come back with you. They come back at you with a good comeback too. Now the thing is, the normal person has the reaction, "Man, I'm trying to tell you something good, and all you can do is attack me. This is not about me, this is about you." This is how you would think. But tawasi implies it's about you, and it's also about me. So even if he's saying that just to get back at you, your job in the spirit of tawasi bil haqq is, you know what, you're right. I should work on that. And you should just leave it at that. This is the spirit of tawasi bil haqq. These are the stories we learn from Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu anhu, right? He's walking by, he sees, I'm not giving you the full narration, just a glimpse of it. He's walking by, he looks through the window, and he sees a guy drinking. He busts inside, grabs the guy. Haram. He says, "I did one, you did three. You did three haram. First of all, you looked inside. Second of all, you came in without permission. Third of all, you made an assumption. How do you know I'm drinking alcohol?" Right? You made three. Umar ibn Khattab says, "You're right." And he walks away. Doesn't say anything. Weeks go by. He's given khutbah and the same guy shows up in the khutbah. He sits all the way in the back. And after the khutbah is done, he sneaks up to Umar radiallahu anhu. Umar says to him, ever since that day, I stopped checking, looking at people. I didn't tell anyone about you either. And the guy says, ever since that day, I stopped drinking. But the idea is you tell someone, but you also expect that they will tell you. And it might not be in a way that you like. That's okay. In the end, if there's even an element of truth in it, you take it. Umar ibn al-Khattab could say, "Yeah, I know I'm wrong, but you're still wrong too. Come with me." No, he just took it. And you know what that shows? That shows sincerity. That shows sincerity. You're